are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.
Fair use, fair use. Fair use, fair use. My apologies, everyone. I was fighting for my life. This is a bit of a reckless stream, just a teeny tiny bit for a few more minutes. Don't put it in the comments. Don't put it in the comments. My snipers will snipe your ass if you put it in the comments. Do not put it in the comments. If you think you know, you might know. Don't put it in the comments. All right. Yeah, I couldn't make this the reckless stream I needed it to be. And that means we're going to have to do a part 2 to this. But Mr. Z, got to get the monologue out. We're probably going to do a monologue again for the part 2, but that's neither here nor there. And we will be speaking about, we will be addressing a couple of things. Shout out to Passport OG, right? Shout out to Miss Teresa. We're going to be addressing a few things. You know, everyone is speaking about, not everyone, a bunch of folks are speaking about the Professor Galloway conversation with Oprah Winfrey. And one thing that I noticed that no one mentioned was the heavyset redhead woman's face. Her face, her face, as Professor Galloway essentially told her, or essentially said, "You are the man now." Ooh, ooh, ooh. See, maybe y'all didn't hear it, but Mr. Z heard it. And the look on her face, oh, she was livid. Oh, she wanted to cry. You know the anger that makes you cry? Oh, she was batting her eyes real hard. She was fighting those tears. And she's only 27, Miss Teresa. She's Gen Z. Y'all, let's see what Mr. Z's saying that in a minute, right? So once again, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Look at his face. Oh, boy. Hey, she was batting him eyes hard as hell. Huh? Look at his face. Oh, this is the face that Miss Teresa said is perfectly okay with being single, and it's really not about hypergamy. Y'all, let's see what Mr. Z is saying in a minute. But to address Miss Teresa, we're going to play TYT. This is from about 8 years ago. The numbers have changed a bit. Obviously, it's about almost a decade, but not as much as some would think. What's important here is not the exact numbers, although they are important. It's the trend. Now, pay attention. Now, some of my day ones have seen this before, have heard this before. Some of the newcomers, you might have never even seen this before. You might not have ever thought of this before. So we'll do the fair use again. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And let's get underway.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number, or the percentage, is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to, you know, a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now, the overall birth rate in America has decreased slightly, but for the most part, birth rates have been steady.
Yeah, so that's a big number, a big difference. 51% in 1990 of poor adults, which is the lowest 20th percentile in income, now only 26%, so cut in half basically. And look, there's a couple of different factors, and it is interesting. One of the most interesting parts is that, so the poor economy can lead to a vicious cycle, which creates this. But once it sets into the culture, it then becomes really hard to reverse.
Now keep that in mind when we play Miss Teresa. Y'all heard it. Mr. Z has memorized those numbers. 56% of middle class and above Americans are married. It was 39% for working class. It was 26% for poor, for working poor, for the poor. There's a trend there. This is not about love. This is not about connection. This is not about emotional intelligence. This is pure hard money. The numbers, the coin, the ATM. Who files for 70 to 80% of divorces? 90% if she's college educated? The women. Miss Teresa, did you hear that? Huh? Not only are more well-off and well-to-do folks more likely to be married, they're less likely to get divorced. Now, if the women are the ones who are filing for divorce at 70 to 80%, 90% if she's college educated, then why are they less likely to file for divorce when the money's good? Huh. Inquiring minds would like to know. Right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Now we're gonna play this from Oprah, and hopefully I don't get a strike. Don't strike me, Oprah. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Right? We might get a strike, y'all. Goddamn, but I really need y'all need to pay attention to this face. Let's see if we can get away with it. We might not be able to, but we're gonna play it one pass. We're gonna give it one pass and see if we could get away with playing this. All right, y'all, buckle up.
Hey, Jack. So, Anne-Marie, what did you want to say?
So this has been such a great and enlightening conversation. I have so many thoughts that I want to add. I have to say, for a lot of my friends, we've just completely given up on dating. We're more focused on our family and our friends and our careers. And for me personally, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I really love the version of myself that I've become. I put a lot of work into her. I'm really focused on my career and that emotional independence. And it feels really great to be in that space. So I thought when I started dating again, that would actually make dating easier. But I feel like it's getting so much harder to actually find someone who is willing to come to the table.
Lip is out of sync. I'm sorry, y'all.
My question for Scott is, as women continue to level up more and more, why do you think that we can't find as many men that are willing to meet us there?
So what you said was really telling, that you're pouring your energy into family, friends, and work. That is very telling. That's more indicative of women than men. And that is, women tend to channel that energy,
pay attention to her
that
face.
Romantic energy, or lack thereof, or interest, into very positive things, whereas men sometimes channel it into negative things. The reality is, my message, I'm not here with a message of hope on this, because the reality is, women made socioeconomically, horizontally, and up. Women, generally speaking, and this isn't true for everybody, but generally speaking, women who graduated from college don't want to date men who didn't graduate from college. Not always, but generally speaking. It's the high heels effect. And again, this is an uncomfortable conversation. 50% of women say they would never date a man shorter than them. I think that's bullshit. I think it's more like 80%. I think women instinctively want a dude they feel that could physically protect them. And the problem is, or the issue is, and it's both a wonderful thing, but something that's created knock-on effects in mating, is that women metaphorically are getting taller every year, and men appear to be getting shorter. I'm saying metaphorically. And the divorce rates have skyrocketed, and 70% of divorce filings are from women. And it's because, and it's actually for some good reasons, women no longer feel like they're economically indentured servants.
It's
they have
the
their own
money.
game, and their ascent economically has not been matched by men's ascent emotionally and logistically. So women wake up and say, okay, I'm making more money than you. You're not pulling your weight at home, and you're kind of not there for me. You're not really noticing me. And so a lot of women are doing the math and exiting the relationship. What I would say is, what you're feeling, quite frankly, I think is what a lot of women are feeling. And a lot of women say there are no good men to date, or there are no men to date.
Look at her face. Look at her face.
Men they'd want to date. And so where I try to go to solutions is, how do we lift up young people such that they're all, or more of them, are economically viable, which I think will, on the margin, lift up or disproportionately impact young men. But just the fact that you said you're self-conscious or aware enough to pour that energy into really productive things means you're going to be fine. I don't think romantic love is the be-all, end-all for everybody.
Look at her face.
It's
Look
really
at her face.
rewarding, but I think you can find what I'll call that sort of purpose, relational love in a lot of different areas. And the fact that you're even thinking about how you channel that energy into stuff that's more productive, you're the role model for young men right now.
Look at her face. Look at her face.
Not everyone's going to find romantic love
She's
right
fighting
away.
back
It's going to
tears.
happen. It's going to take longer. But how do you transfer it into more productive means that make you a better person, a better citizen, a better sister, a better daughter? So anyways, this is a long-winded way of saying, right on. You're being a productive human. You're going to be happy regardless if you find that or not. And I just wish more men would take your lead and say, all right, maybe things aren't working out for me romantically. I'm going to continue to work on myself. And I'm going to pour that energy into other relationships.
Yeah, that's what Brendan did. That's what he said at the very beginning. So we have another question.
If y'all didn't see that young lady wants to cry and bawl her eyes out. What she heard from Professor Galloway was buckle up. This might be life. Oh, the pain. This might be your life for decades. You might not get a dude. And if you do, it might take a while. I'm glad that you've got comfortable and you're pouring your energy into your friends. He's calling her bluff. I'm glad that you're pouring your energy into your friends and your family because you might be here for a while. And you can see her registering it. She's stirring y'all don't see the tantrum in her face? Huh? Appreciate this. Millennial and Gen Z women are livid. Those college degrees were supposed to equate to them moving up in class and getting super tall, good looking, chiseled chin, charismatic, kiss their ass men. The women are livid. They're angry. They're rageful. Huh? I watched a couple of folks coverage of this conversation between Professor Galloway and Oprah. No one really paid attention to this young lady's face. She was batting her eyes, the look of disappointment. Huh? What this young lady was trying to engage in is the same thing y'all saw every single night on Kevin Samuel's show. Particularly coming from the women who are stable and above. They're livid. Oh, you better believe it. I got you. And that is what they're saying.
Fair. That is not fair. That is not fair. That's not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair.
Huh? That is what they're saying. They're angry. That's the anger that make you want to cry. She wanted to cry right then and there. She is 27 years old. I see y'all talking about her weight and the weight on her face. Mr. Z's not addressing none of that. Yes, that's a factor. Regardless, she's livid. The ladies are trying to call our bluff with all this pouring into themselves. I'm pouring into my friends, into my family, and the decenter man, and that. Huh? It's a big, it's not fair. She's so rageful. I see you, lady. Oh. Huh? Y'all keep this in mind as we play Miss Teresa. The anger knows no bounds. The rage knows no bounds. Huh? Yikes. So let's get underway. Let's play this first before we even do that. Fair use, fair use. Fair use, fair use. And Miss Teresa's face, y'all don't want to see her when she had the buzz cut. Oh, y'all would have jokes for days. Yeah, she had the army buzz cut. Y'all. Oh, anyway, we're going to leave that one. Mr. Z, I try to stay away from the ad hominem attacks, even though certain women make it too goddamn easy. But we're going to leave it on the table. We're going to leave it alone. Lady growing dreads might have been the best thing you ever did for your physique or your look or whatever the hell. Oh, boy. Anyway, we're going to leave that one alone. Here we go. Let's get underway.
Pew Research just dropped a crazy stat. In 1993, 83% of female high school seniors said that they wanted to get married someday. In 2023, that number's down to 61%. And immediately the conservative reaction has been, see, this is what happened.
Technical difficulties, everyone. Mr. Z realizes he downloaded the wrong goddamn sound clip, and I don't want to go over it again and try to do it. Okay, so we really gonna have to do a part two. That's what I get for rushing. Can't tell y'all what Mr. Z was doing because I'm not gonna incriminate myself. We're gonna have to do a part two because Mr. Z, owner and operator, is over here messing up. Yeah, that's what it is. We gonna have to do a part two anyway. Now we really gonna have to do a part two. I knew I had to do one anyway, but yeah. Right. So I guess this is the preliminary. We're gonna call this what, the rough draft. This is the rough draft, everyone. Damn, Z, I know. So you had us waiting this long, and you messing up, and you got the wrong sound clip? Yes, I did. Because, of course, that's not the sound clip I wanted. Jesus. Anyway, it happened. It happened. Moving along. I wanted to play that Scott Galloway, and I wanted to play the interview from TYT because, just kind of giving y'all foreshadowing here, Teresa addresses this, and she starts off with going off on Professor Galloway, on Professor Galloway, because she says, let's dead this whole hypergamy talk. Meanwhile, what Anna Kasparian just described to y'all was hypergamy talk. What Anna described to you, based off the marriage numbers, was hypergamy talk. Who are the women marrying and who are they staying married to? Is it not the top 20 and 25%, Miss Teresa? Not just college educated, Miss Teresa. No, you need more than a college degree. You need a college degree and some money. Uh-oh. Huh? Unless someone wants to tell me, and I would love to see y'all do this classist crap, that the financially well men are more emotionally intelligent and they help out around the house more. Uh-oh. And they do chores and they have better conflict resolution, Uh-oh. Somebody want to go there with it? Who got the ovaries? Who got the balls? Uh-oh. Huh? Yeah. Huh? Let's play that Anna Kasparian again.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number or the percentage is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to, you know, a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now, the overall birth rate in America has decreased slightly, but for the most part, birth rates have been steady.
Yeah, so that's a big number, a big difference. 51% in 1990 of poor adults, which is the lowest 20th percentile in income, now only 26%, so cut in half basically. And look, there's a couple of different factors, and it is interesting. One of the most interesting parts is that, so the poor economy can lead to a vicious cycle, which creates this. But once it sets into the culture, it then becomes really hard to reverse.
Yeah, y'all gives you a second. Let's make sure. Okay, we did that. Yeah, so appreciate that while you listen to Miss Teresa tomorrow, maybe, probably. Damn, Z, I know. And who said it? Somebody said Z need to fire his producer. Look, my producer is trash. I either need to fire him or give him a raise, right? And Adrian said it. Adrian says Z got to fire his producer. Part one. Look, my producer is trash. I don't even know where I got this guy from. This guy is trash. He came highly recommended too. Trash. I think his name is Mr. Z also. Goddamn. Right? So I play the TYT clip to emphasize, no, the folks that are more likely to get married. Remember, marriage is now at the capstone of adulting and having all your ducks in a row. We already appreciate that the women said they're not doing struggle love, they're not building, none of that, none of it. They're not doing any of it. They're not engaging in any of it, right? That's what the lady said. Oh boy, we're gonna make them mean that. Huh? So let me play this, and shout out to Passport OG. Let's play this from Passport OG, and so we could ground the conversation a bit. I see your super chat, KMS. I'm gonna get to it in 1 minute. Right, talking about that. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, and let's play this.
If I'm going to be precise, Candy would be correct. Why would Candy be correct in thinking that it was her money? Does anybody know? Why most women, 99% of women who say it's my money, they're not correct. They're wrong. Why would Candy actually be correct? She had it before him. No, she made it before him. No, she was wealthy going into the marriage. No, damn, y'all got it. Sammy got it. Candy thinks her prenup was solid.
You should money do you earn?
So I don't know. I mean, I earn a lot of money.
Inside.
Yeah.
I've been with lawyers. I've been with doctors.
Okay.
I've been with white men.
You've been with, oh my gosh, she reached the top of the mountain. She's been a white man. Oh my God.
That's it.
And you just talked about how we're on the dumb of white supremacy.
Yep. And
so what, you want to control the dumb? You want to control the dumb?
You want me to get into it?
There is an interesting parallel in this clip with this young lady speaking about divesting and being very proud of it, and the clip that you're hearing from the lead attorney. There is a right that I think many young ladies believe should be theirs. That is the actual quote unquote equality that many of them actually want. And if you listen to her attitude in her saying what she's saying, you can pretty much hear that there's just not a lot of love for Otis.
You going down today. Come on with it. You going down. Come on with it. You want me to get into it? Okay. There was a point in time in my life where I felt like black men were failing so badly. I was young. I was very young, so I was 19, by the way, too. So I was a kid. But that I thought that black men were failing so immensely that I did, for a moment, see how white men marry easy. White men help their families easy. White men their wives benefit from their partnership easy. I did see that, and I was caught up in that idea in regard to how white men might they do it better than don't figure it out early enough, and they waste time, blah blah blah. So I went with the white man, but I realized, because I take accountability and everything, like all of these, this was a systematic way of thought, and I should have understood why black men are the way they are, and all the systematic the domino effects that put them in their situations like that. And the only reason why white men are the saviors for the moment is because society allows them to be. So once I deconstructed that, I went back to black men, and everything in shape for my birthday party tomorrow night. That falls.
Show you right.
I would say that if you analyze this woman's attitude towards the men here, her behavior on the panel, as well as her past behavior, then you could see what her priorities actually are. But she said it herself. She doesn't believe that, or at least she didn't believe that in her prime, there was a black man that was good enough for her. So she went where the white men were. Now, something brought her back, and surprise, I'm back, like Otis at his birthday party.
Oh, what's the matter, Mr. Otis? Need to see an ID? What you over here laughing for, boy? Looking like a broke-ass Michael Jordan.
But here she is saying, essentially, I analyzed all of that, and I decided to take accountability and come back. But the real question is, what is the equality that she's looking for? What is equality to her?
Okay, and my last question for you is this. You were very honest about, not dating a bus driver, right? And girl, you went viral. and listen.
Absolutely not. You're about to feel that right now. He dropped over the top.
This is kind of the injustice of it, right? Candy was thinking all along for these 11 years that the prenup was solid. Shout out to Sammy. Sammy called it. Sammy's exactly right. Even with the prenup, it's not Candy's kids. It's not Todd's kids. It's their kids, right? If this prenup gets thrown out, it's not Candy's money. It's not Candy's restaurants. It's not Todd's debt. It's their debt, their restaurants, their kids, their money, right? So Todd is asking for a division of their money. Of course, he's also asking for, so what is he asking for? Temporary relief. He's asking for a divorce. He's asking for custody of the kids. He's asking for a fair distribution, not an equal distribution, a fair distribution of the property, a fair distribution of all the debts. He's asking for child support, and he's asking, of course, for alimony. Should he get alimony?
You are a woman of means. You are a highly educated woman, and you are a celebrity. You, like I said, been open about not dating the bus driver. Based on the fact that the financial difference between Candy and Todd entering a relationship, and now he's asking for possible child support alimony. Are these the reasons why you felt so strongly about not dating a bus driver, to prevent yourself from being in the situation?
You said that women don't benefit from marriage. You said men benefit from marriage. Was that correct? Okay. Who benefits from divorce?
Y'all.
We do?
The woman, if the man has money.
Okay.
The average does not have money. Nobody's going to get anything from divorce.
7 out of the 10 richest women are but beneficiary from marriage, right? Whether it was death or divorce. There are women who become billionaires from divorce.
Y'all average. Why are you talking about billionaire concepts? You're an average.
You can see a commonality in these two women. They, first of all, speak down on the quote-unquote regular Otises, but the other part is they don't want equality with average men. They want parts of the equality of rich men. Not all of the equality, just certain parts of it.
About not dating a bus driver to prevent yourself from being in the situation.
But of course, that's an easy answer. No shame in my game, raindrops. This is very much a part, not exclusively, but a very real part of why I personally, this is a me decision. Each woman, each man, each person gets to make this decision for themselves. But for me, this would not be a risk I would be willing to take. And that's based on a few things, right, raindrops? It's based off my personal value system. I'm very old school. I'm very much of the traditional mindset that I think men in this nation, we live in a patriarchy. And I believe that men, despite challenges that they also go through, I think they are put in best position to climb the capitalism ladder of this nation based off of male patriarchal systems. So what do I look like? Tethering myself legally, for sure, to a man that I'm out earning when the whole system is designed for you to out earn me. So I got a problem with that, and I have no problem saying that.
When you listen to her argument, you can hear the holes, the contradictions all the way through it. She's saying she's old-fashioned, that she's old school, but she's also choosing to have a child by herself out of wedlock because there's not a man on her level that she deems is worthy. And then, of course, the other hole is that America is this patriarchy where men are designed to succeed. So in a way, she's right if she's talking about white men. So she tried to date white men. No white men wanted to marry her and take her seriously. Then she comes back to black men and say, like you heard with the other woman, you guys have not achieved on the level of these other men in this system that's built for you to win. So you're not good enough to be with me, or better yet, even lecture me. And it sounds oddly familiar.
And that is the one and only Mr. Otis. You already know, y'all. Not if you're hurting the group.
Hurting the group? I'm the best thing that ever happened to this damn group. Nobody's bigger than the group. Y'all ain't stupid. I'm the one selling the records. They coming to see me.
They coming to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You wish you could work it the way I do. But you can't. Because there's only one baby record.
Alimony is paid by how much percent?
But
it's like 93%.
alimony
men.
is for white
90.
men. Don't pay alimony.
What?
But in addition to that, because I have practiced family law, I know what it's like to see Sherry. And I also have relationships with women who have paid child support for their own children. I have relationships with women who have paid spousal support to men for years, to multiple men, some of these women. And they're not all famous. Some of them are accountants. Some of them are CEOs. Some of them are, work in healthcare, physicians, and that's, again, not a risk I am personally willing to take. So I want to be clear before anybody thinks anything funny style. I am not calling Todd Tucker a bus driver at all. I believe that Todd was a working individual, that he brought many things to the table, and Candy made sure we knew that. But the discrepancy is undisputed. The financial discrepancy between herself and Todd remained severe.
What if black women were supposed to be the leaders and black men are just supposed to protect with their muscles and use their listening ears and carry out instructions?
Shout out to Passport OG. Because what the women are running into, we've said this a zillion times in the Black Minister in specific, is the cap of feminism. You have your autonomy, even for the women that don't earn good money, they don't earn stable money, they still have their autonomy. For the women that do earn good money, they're stable and above, you have that, ladies. You're stable and above, you can sustain yourself, and you have your autonomy. But the men don't have to sign up for it. Huh? The men don't have to sign up for women that say decenter men. The women don't have to sign up for women who front and lie to themselves and to everyone else about how good they are being single and how they're pouring into their friends and their family and their community. Huh? The men don't have to sign up for that. We know, ladies. We know y'all lying. We know. Huh?
Look at me. Look at me. If you were single, if you were a single woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, look at me, okay? I was feeling great about myself. I was like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm single. I don't need no man. I actually really would love a man, and I do need a man. But just, this is what we say when we're single and we just want to... Anyway, focus, Medina. Look at me. If you were...
Yeah, we know. Huh? We know. Why did you play that clip, Z? So further put into context, well, we're going to play it again. This clip. Remember to pay attention to the young lady's face.
Hey, Jack. So, Anne-Marie, what did you want to say?
So this has been such a great and enlightening conversation. I have so many thoughts that I want to add. I have to say, for a lot of my friends, we've just completely given up on dating. We're more focused on our family and our friends and our careers. And for me personally, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I really love the version of myself that I've become. I put a lot of work into her. I'm really focused on my career and that emotional independence. And it feels really great to be in that space. So I thought when I started dating again, that would actually make dating easier. But I feel like it's getting so much harder.
Imagine saying you thought being emotionally independent would make dating easier. These women want their independence. We gonna make you mean that. Gen Z, you said, for all the Gen Z and millennial women, when you said independent, the men said, I bet. That's what you said. We gonna make you mean that. Continuing.
Hey, Jack. So, Anne-Marie, what did you want to say?
So this has been such a great and enlightening conversation. I have so many thoughts that I want to add. I have to say, for a lot of my friends, we've just completely given up on dating. We're more focused on our family and our friends and our careers. And for me personally, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I really love the version of myself that I've become. I put a lot of work into her. I'm really focused on my career and that emotional independence. And it feels really great to be in that space. So I thought when I started dating again, that would actually make dating easier. But I feel like it's getting so much harder to actually find someone who is willing to come to the table and meet me where I am. So my question for Scott is, as women continue to level up more and more, why do you think that we can't find as many men that are willing to meet us there?
So what you said was really telling, that you're pouring your energy into family, friends, and work. That is very telling. That's more indicative of women than men. And that is, women tend to channel that energy, that romantic energy, or lack thereof, or interest, into very positive things, whereas men sometimes channel it into negative things. The reality is, my message, I'm not here with a message of hope on this, because the reality is, women made socioeconomically, horizontally, and up. Women, generally speaking, and this isn't true for everybody, but generally speaking, women who graduated from college don't want to date men who didn't graduate from college. Not always, but generally speaking. It's the high heels effect. And again, this is an uncomfortable conversation. 50% of women say they would never date a man shorter than them. I think that's bullshit. I think it's more like 80%. I think women instinctively want a dude they feel that could physically protect them. And the problem is, or the issue is, and it's both a wonderful thing, but something that's created knock-on effects in mating, is that women metaphorically are getting taller every year, and men appear to be getting shorter, when I'm saying metaphorically. And the divorce rates have skyrocketed, and 70% of divorce filings are from women. And it's because, and it's actually for some good reasons, women no longer feel like they're economically indentured servants. They have their own game, and their ascent economically has not been matched by men's ascent emotionally and logistically. So women wake up and say, okay, I'm making more money than you, you're not pulling your weight at home, and you're kind of not there for me, you're not really noticing me. And so a lot of women are doing the math and exiting the relationship. What I would say is, what you're feeling, quite frankly, I think is what a lot of women are feeling. And a lot of women say there are no good men to date, or there are no men to date. No, there just aren't that many men they'd want to date. And so where I try to go to solutions is, how do we lift up young people such that they're all, or more of them, are economically viable, which I think will, on the margin, lift up or disproportionately impact young men. But just the fact that you said you're self-conscious or aware enough to pour that energy into really productive things means you're going to be fine. I don't think romantic love is the be-all, end-all for everybody. It's really rewarding, but I think you can find what I'll call that sort of purpose, relational love in a lot of different areas. And the fact that you're even thinking about how you channel that energy into stuff that's more productive, you're the role model for young men right now. Not everyone's going to find romantic love right away, or it's going to happen, it's going to take longer. But how do you transfer it into more productive means that make you a better person, a better citizen, a better sister, a better daughter? So anyways, there's a long-winded way of saying, right on, you're being a productive human, you're going to be happy regardless if you find that or not. And I just wish more men would take your lead and say, all right, maybe things aren't working out for me romantically, I'm going to continue to work on myself, and I'm going to pour that energy into other relationships.
Yeah, that's what Brendan did. That's what he said at the very beginning. So we have another question.
And Indigo Flow says, use a provider now, boo. Say it again, so you messed up. Use a provider now, boo. Huh? Shout out to Indigo Flow. And KMS says, if I don't get a family, you don't get a society. And there you go, lady. And there you go. Essentially, what Professor Galloway said was, use a provider now, boo. And you saw her registering it and throwing a fit. You saw how hard she was blinking. You saw the disappointment in her face. The disappointment in her face. Let me take this lady off my goddamn screen. Put the other lady on my damn screen. Huh? Yeah, use a provider now, boo. That's not what she went up there to say. Huh? She was up there for the same reason those ladies called into Kevin Samuels, for the same reason the women that are doing okay-ish and better call into Kendra G. Get me my man. I have the stability. I graduated. I go to therapy. I have my degree. I did everything I'm supposed to do. I've even decentered men. Now where's my man? Oh, young lady, if you hear this, I'm not laughing at you, but I am laughing. I'm not laughing at you, but I am laughing at the situation, young lady. Just in case you ever come across this. Huh? Yeah. She's throwing y'all don't see her face? That lady wanted to cry. She wanted to cry on that damn stage. She was sitting down. She wanted to cry. Huh? She was fighting tears. She was angry. She was rageful. I get you, lady. I get it. Huh? And Eric says, and let me read this, Cam, I did not forget about you. And Eric Deadman says, Z, what irks me is that Galloway and other male feminists blow smoke up these women's backside like they made all the financial leaps and bounds with no help from Zaddy government. It's infuriating. True indeed. True. With that, I see what Professor Galloway is engaging in. I see what Dr. Richard Reeves is engaging in, and even Teresa, I can see her anger because she see what's happening. And she's saying, and so is Kim Foster and their ilk, we're not going back. To hell with society. If we have to do for men, let it burn then. See, they don't got the ovaries to overtly say it. They're gonna act like they care about other women. They don't. Why I'm kind of beating myself up is because, and I'll just say it now, I'll play it, hopefully we'll get to do a stream tomorrow. But why I'm beating myself up is because the sound clip I wanted to play, Teresa says it, socialize the boys the way we do the girls. She said it. She overtly said it. She said, Mr. Z's not paraphrasing. She said it in those words. Huh? What I'm playing for everyone, this is the supporting the background, or the pillars, I don't know what Mr. Z is saying, but yeah, the pillars to emphasize the women don't want equality. So when you say socialize the boys the way we do the girls, the women don't want that. You want it as a rageful feminist. That's why I keep on saying y'all don't mean well for other women. Y'all are full of crap. Teresa, if you ever come across this, y'all are so full of crap, you in particular, because y'all never tell the other women what's not gonna come once y'all get rid of patriarchy, if y'all can ever do it. If the men say, oh, don't worry about it, y'all want y'all equality, we gonna make you meet it every bit of the way. Unless, of course, you're okay with the chaos. Uh-oh. Eric, I get your anger, and I see that it irks you. I get it. And you're right. It was the society. It was our fathers and our uncles and our aunts and our grandmothers and and our mothers who put the thumb on the scale for the women, for the good and bad of it all. For the good and bad of it all. So you have women that if they're in a horrible situation, if she has a college degree, if she can fund her own things, she don't have to stay with whatever dude. Great. That's great. But the women aren't signing up for theirs into the bargain. Y'all said equality. Now y'all saying equity because equality is punching you in the gonads. Huh? Yeah. Now y'all saying equity because equality hurt too much. Eric, I get it irking you. And it irks a lot of men who kind of we're in the know. We appreciate it. And this is why you see the Trump administration yanking a bunch of those stuff back. Right? Y'all didn't hold up y'all into the bargain, ladies. Y'all was still supposed to get married and have children. Y'all were supposed to still get married and have children. What's the point of doing all of this for the women if the women said, oh yeah, by the way, we're only going to have 1.6 children now? Huh? Oh, and we're gonna look down on the average men, even though we're average women. Uh-oh. Huh? I got my degree so that I could get top shelf men, not the average men that I'm still the average woman. I'm their mate, but I want better than them. Even though they're gonna make more than me. Even though I'm white collar, I'm college educated, and my blue collar should be husband is gonna earn more than me. I'm better than him. If I can't have 6'3" tall chisel chin Bartholomew III, I don't want anything. Okay, ladies. Or the tatted version, or the Channing Tatum borderline urbanized version of Bartholomew III. Either way. But yes, Eric, you're 100% correct. It is irksome. And y'all give Z a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back, and let me address this comment. And Dwayne says, so I guess we're really freestyling right now, because not having the anchor to the conversation, Miss Teresa's clip, is throwing me off. I have a very short time, right? We're not going to be able to bring up a panel today, so we're shooting for tomorrow afternoon. We're going to try to bring up a panel, so to make it up to you guys, because Mr. Z got thrown off by this clip, and today was just a crazy day. But I definitely wanted to mention this young lady's face, because her face is everything. The look of disappointment. And I'm tying this to this larger conversation that we're having, particularly in the Black manosphere, concerning the female loneliness epidemic, which I should have said earlier. My apologies for not mentioning that. This goes along with this chapter of the Black manosphere and us addressing the actual female loneliness epidemic. This young lady is 27. She is 27 years old. And apparently she has all her ducks in a row. Yes, there's a very glaring blind spot for everyone on why she's single. One of the contributing factors of her being single, I should say, right? We all can see it. This is one of the things that happen when you decenter man and decenter men's opinion, right? We all know what it is. It's clear, written all over her face. Huh? I'm gonna have to put that song in the description box. Anyway, let's read this from Dwayne because it actually addresses a bunch of stuff. And Dwayne says, Z, what Scott proposes is the community unit for all of society, and men as a collective are saying no. And I agree. Professor Galloway, NYU professor, is it in marketing or something like that, if I'm not mistaken? And appreciate this. Many of us are seeing the numbers. It's not just Mr. Z with the clip I played for y'all from Anna Kasparian from TYT, which, by the way, remember, y'all, it's 8 years old. So kind of give or take with some of the numbers, but the trend is the same. More well-to-do, more educated folks are married. Less well-to-do, poor folks are less married. Everyone wants to speak about assortative mating because they don't want to say that the women are practicing hypergamy. Stop being cowards and call it what it is. Assortative mating. It's not the men. It's the women. Cut the crap. Continuing. All right. Dwayne, you're right about the community unit. And you're right, and this goes to what KMS says. If I don't get a family, y'all don't get a society. In a weird way, what's happening is that the women are kind of low-key being left in the dark. They are being the cannon fodder for the Teresas of the world gender war. Kim Foster and her gender war. Chrissy and her gender war. Real Talk with Yenny and her gender war. Huh? Divested Zealot, Divested Witch, Manifestel, Shira 7, White Feminist of varying shapes and sizes and descriptions in their gender war. No one's telling the women overtly, hey, see, I'm waging this war on the men. And you're gonna love it. I'm gonna say sexist, misandrist things, and you're gonna clap it up like a seal, like a trained seal. But I just want you to know that this might cost you, and it might cost you marriage, children, huh? It might cost you coupling. It might cost you a lot, huh?
It'll cost you. It may cost you a little. It may cost you a lot. But it will cost you.
Huh? Like, who's saying that to the ladies? Why they claim, and y'all gives you a second. And we're back. Why they claim to care about Black women and women in general, and all of this is for the liberation and autonomy of women, and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But the men said we're not subsidizing these autonomous women, these supposed women of autonomy, Z, that's what I'm saying. The men said we're not subsidizing them. You could keep them. See, what you see, oh, Mr. Z, phone over here, lock it. What you see from this young lady, I think her name is Anne-Marie, what you see from Anne-Marie's face, this face right here, is the look of women when they register what their autonomy cost them. Oh, yeah. This is the look of women when they register what their autonomy cost them. She couldn't even hide it. She couldn't even hide it. She was blinking hard as hell. She was fighting back tears and anger, and she had the look of utter sheer disappointment. And I'm covering this because I noticed that no one mentioned it. Y'all know Mr. Z loves saying, look at her face, look at her face, look at her face. Huh? Her face, look at this face, the look of sheer and utter disappointment. because Oprah was supposed to tell her, oh, I know a guy. Oh, I know somebody whose son. Huh? Professor Galloway was supposed to say, oh, I have a student that graduated some years ago. Let me see if I could if I could call him and see if he knows somebody or if he's still single. Or that's what was supposed to happen. Huh? I need to get that sound clip of Cameron, Jim Jones, and Chrissy, not this Chrissy, colorist Chrissy, but Jim Jones' ex-lady Chrissy. And there was a song back in the early 2000s. Was it called Fire Tonight? And essentially it was about Cameron getting the itchy scratchy from going in a chick raw. And it was funny. It was funny. And there's a skit. And was it Jim Jones? I can't remember who did the voiceover. And there was a part where he was like, I see y'all at the clinic, running to the clinic talking about help me. Help me. And I need that sound clip because I need that help me sound clip to fit into how the women are actually, when they call into Kendra G, when they were calling into Kevin Samuels, now that they're on Oprah, A. Marie is actually saying, help me. Huh? Help me. Help me, Scott. Huh? Help me, Oprah. Help me. Yeah. That's what the autonomy costs, ladies. So, Dwayne, yes, you are correct. I will say, for Professor Galloway, I'm on the fence with that, to be fair with you, to be honest. And I'm going to address that tomorrow. If I can remember, I will address that tomorrow. For Oprah, yes. For most of the feminists that Mr. Z reviews and some of these women who are not even card-carrying feminists, but they're more women in luxury, black women in luxury in specific, yeah, it was supposed to be a community full of community unique men. The non-select men were still supposed to kind of be around, huh? Be in the friend zone, be community unique men, still doing for women who won't even blink their way. Huh? But if that's what you read from Professor Galloway, I could see that. I won't even debate you on that. I could see that. Huh? Look at her face. You gonna play it again, Z? I know Mr. Z be spamming these buttons. Here you go again.
Hey, Jack. So, Anne Marie, what do you want to say?
So this has been such a great and enlightening conversation. I have so many thoughts that I want to add. I have to say, for a lot of my friends, we've just completely given up on dating. We're more focused on our family and our friends and our careers. And for me personally, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I really love the version of myself that I've become. I put a lot of work into her. I'm really focused on my career and that emotional independence. And it feels really great to be in that space. So I thought when I started dating again, that would actually make dating easier. But I feel like it's getting so much harder to actually find someone who is willing to come to the table and meet me where I am. So my question for Scott is, as women continue to level up more and more, why do you think that we can't find as many men that are willing to meet us there?
So what you said was really telling, that you're pouring your energy into family, friends, and work. That is very telling. That's more indicative of women than men. And that is, women tend to channel that energy, that romantic energy, or lack thereof, or interest, into very positive things, whereas men sometimes channel it into negative things. The reality is, my message, I'm not here with a message of hope on this, because the reality is, women made socioeconomically, horizontally, and up. Women, generally speaking, and this isn't true for everybody, but generally speaking, women who graduated from college don't want to date men who didn't graduate from college. Not always, but generally speaking. It's the high heels effect. And again, this is an uncomfortable conversation. 50% of women say they would never date a man shorter than them. I think that's bullshit. I think it's more like 80%. I think women instinctively want a dude they feel that could physically protect them. And the problem is, or the issue is, and it's both a wonderful thing, but something that's created knock-on effects in mating, is that women metaphorically are getting taller every year, and men appear to be getting shorter. I'm saying metaphorically. And the divorce rates have skyrocketed, and 70% of divorce filings are from women. And it's because, and it's actually for some good reasons, women no longer feel like they're economically indentured servants. They have their own game, and their ascent economically has not been matched by men's ascent emotionally and logistically. So women wake up and say, okay, I'm making more money than you, you're not pulling your weight at home, and you're kind of not there for me, you're not really noticing me. And so a lot of women are doing the math and exiting the relationship. What I would say is, what you're feeling, quite frankly, I think is what a lot of women are feeling. And a lot of women say there are no good men to date, or there are no men to date. No, there just aren't that many men they'd want to date. And so where I try to go to solutions is how do we lift up young people
Look at her
such that they're all,
face. The
or
face
more of
of
them are economically
disappointment.
viable, which I think will, on the margin, lift up or disproportionately impact young men. But just the fact that you said you're self-conscious or aware enough to pour that energy into really productive things means you're going to be fine. I don't think romantic love is the be-all, end-all for everybody. It's really rewarding, but I think you can find what I'll call that sort of purpose, relational love in a lot of different areas. And the fact that you're even thinking about how you channel that energy into stuff that's more productive, you're the role model for young men right
Look
now.
at her face.
Not everyone's
What
going to find romantic love
My
right away.
God.
It's going to happen. It's
That
going to take
lady wanna
longer.
try so
But
bad.
how do you transfer it into more productive means that make you a better person, a better citizen, a better sister?
She wanna
better
cry,
daughter?
y'all.
So anyways, there's a
She
long-winded
wanna
way of
cry,
saying,
y'all. Oh,
right
man.
on. You're being a productive human. You're
Look,
going to be
look,
happy
look, look,
regardless
look,
if you
look.
find that or not. And I
My
just wish more
God.
men would take your lead and say, all right, maybe things aren't working out for me romantically. I'm going to continue to work on myself. And I'm going to pour that energy into other relationships.
Yeah, that's what Brendan did. That's what he said at the very beginning. So we have another question.
What is she really saying, Z? What is she really saying?
Whatever reason, I'm just not allowed to experience love from another person. And yes, although, you know, I don't have that, there are other areas of my life that are flourishing, you know, like my YouTube channel and friendships, and it's giving me opportunity to pour into those friendships and pour into myself, which I think are equally as important. But I think people tend to forget that platonic love doesn't replace romantic love. And so as much as I am fulfilled by, you know, my friendships and, you know, relationships with my family and things like that, it still doesn't replace that desire that I have deep down for something more. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to suppress. It's a hard thing to put on the back burner, and not knowing how long I'm going to be in this season scares me a little bit. And it also scares me to know that it may not ever happen, that it may not ever happen. And so it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making much sense in this video.
That is Amory internally. Internally, she was dying. That's her center. Inside, that's what she was going through. Huh? Inside, she was really saying, I can't make up for romantic love with platonic love. Wait. Lady, if you come across this, I am not laughing at you because it is very sad. You should actually direct all of your anger to the Oprah Winfreys of the world, actually. And the Hillary Clintons of the world. Ooh, goddamn, Z Hillary? Yep. Huh? The Gloria Steinems of the world, the Bell Hooks of the world. I ain't even gonna say nothing about that lady like that. Anyway. Huh? Yeah. And Joe says she died inside twice on camera. You could see it. You see how hard, when she looked off to the side, her blinking hard. What, she fighting them tears. Oh, she fighting them tears. Huh? She's fighting those tears. And L says, and thank you, bro, because Mr. Z done messed up so much. But let me start reading these super chats now because we got things to do. And can't, you know, anyway. Don't put it in the comments. Don't put it in the comments. Anyway, L says, production fund for tomorrow's stream. This female loneliness series is fire. It is, but it's sad, y'all. I know some of y'all getting y'all 5 chuckles in. Mr. Z get his 5 chuckles in at the situation. None of these individual women, believe it or not, somewhere is Roger peeking over my shoulder saying, Z, they got to be held accountable for what they believe in, Z. And this is part of it. True. But, oh, man, it's sad watching these ladies go through it. Would they feel sad for us? No. Mr. Z knows. Mr. Z knows. Right? I know. But, yeah, it is fire. It is. It is. But it's sad, too. Goddamn. Sad. And Ken says, per the U.S. Department of Labor, men of all races still out-earn women. So the quote-unquote, women are getting taller every year statement is objectively false. It is. It is. No, well, you could play in the gray with that statement, though. They're not taller than men. Could you argue they're getting taller? Yes, but are they taller than men? No. There's a gray area in that. And appreciate Dr. Richard Reeves and Scott Galloway, what they're doing when they do this. They're flattering the women. They're throwing the boys and the men under the bus. They're flattering the women, hoping that the women would be a bit more sympathetic to the plight of men and be able to come up off of hoarding all of the sympathy and empathy and all the resources outside of the elite rich white man, of course. And shout out to Professor and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. We called this a couple of years ago. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson called this a couple of years ago. It ain't gonna work. And well, we're here, and it ain't gonna work. Huh? So, Ken, you're correct. Including in the black community, black men still out-earn black women. Working black men still out-earn working black women. This is true. Have more wealth than them, earn more than them, start more businesses than them, employ more people than them, all of it. Huh? But that's not the narrative now, is it? We know. Huh? And KMS, this made me laugh. I was laughing, but y'all couldn't hear me because I was playing the clip. And KMS says, men are no longer co-signing women's autonomy, including daddy government. These auto thoughts hysterical, gonna have to roll out on their own. Vroom, hashtag vroom. And this is true. This is true. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. This young lady, you know, it looks like she might be doing well financially, and she's in a circle of friends who are doing well financially, and they might be living their own version of Sex in the City. And what they're finding is it's lacking. Huh? She might have, some white dude, some extra average ass white dude that might want to pipe, maybe even a brother or a Latino that might want to pipe. It might not be good enough though. Huh? It's not good enough. Anyway, hey, it's real out here, ladies. This is what you wanted. This is what you signed up for. This is what you co-signed. And Leon says, and thank you for the super chat, Z, she is a productive female eunuch to society. And this is what Leon says all the time. And this is what Leon, you're right about this. You're right about this. And you could see the wheels turning in her head when Professor Galloway speaking that is what she currently is. Because if you say you're pouring into your friends and your family, and someone said in the comments, and Professor Galloway said, well, that's good for you, right? I love that for you. If Professor Galloway is doing that, I love that for you, to you. Oh, that's horrendous. That's horrific. That's horrible. And she's registering that, and she's dying inside. Dying. Leon, you're right about this. And oh man, I'm gonna have to maybe screenshot this comment because I gotta put this up tomorrow because it's 100% true. And you could see her registering that that's what she is. On the periphery, she might not even fully contextualize it the way I'm verbalizing it, but you could see somewhere in the back of her mind is the wheels turning. Oh man, this lady dying inside. Huh? Oh man, she's dying inside. I will. KMS says, make sure you download the Teresa clip. I will. The right one. I downloaded another one, which is I wanted to cover that actually a few days ago, and I'm glad I did it because this one that I'm hopefully covering tomorrow, that's the one I'm like, oh man, I don't want to overload y'all with this freaking rad fem. Shout out to Toya, exactly, radical feminist, all right. And KMS, I will try not to forget. Right. And Joe says, my friend's sister had a Friendsgiving last month while he had Thanksgiving with his mom by himself. Yeah. Hey, shout out to the ladies. You know, if that's, I mean, if the American family is fracturing in the black community, it's pretty much done. It's fractured. And the lady said, well, just because I don't have a blood family, just because I don't have like this nuclear family, doesn't mean I don't have a quote unquote family. I don't have to do quote unquote Thanksgiving. It's a BS holiday anyway. Which that part I agree with. Anyway, Mr. Z still going to eat the turkey. They're gonna do Friendsgiving. Okay then. No. Shout out to Fabulous for the song Binsgiving, which is a dope song on a dope instrumental, right? Dope song on a dope beat. No. But yeah, Joe's look, if that's what the ladies are on, I don't begrudge them this. Is it gonna work for them in the long run? No, it's all cope. Everything they're doing is coping for not having a man, not being in a nuclear family, not having that type of romantic relationship. It's all coping, Joes. It's all coping. Huh? And the market gonna keep on giving them cope. I should have said coke. Anyway, moving along. Wait a minute, Mr. Z, don't miss something. Mr. Z, I did not forget about you. Can't miss in that big old 50. I'm trying to leave that for the end. Give me a second. What else we got? Did I miss anybody else's? I got that. I got that. Got that. Got that. Oh, and Camus says the best way to finish out the Galloway clip would be the Street Fighter 2 Gal victory quote. Go home and go and be a family man. Sonic Boom. Go home and be a family man. Sonic Boom. Look. I mean, if she's pouring into her family, she said, and her friends, then cool. But the look on her face said you are not as okay with this as you're pretending to be. Huh? You are not as okay with this as you're pretending to be, young lady, and we could see it from your face. Ran all over your face. Anyway. Huh? Talking about that Sonic Boom. That's and the bouncing on the floor after the KO. That her fighting the tears and the hard blinking. Oh yeah. Yep, that's her. That's her. Oh man. I wonder what the emotion in that room was as did anybody else realize that she was fighting tears? Did anybody else realize she's pretending to be okay? That lady wanted to cry right then and there. 27-year-old. Huh? Now we could meet her. One of y'all could meet her one day. Well, that's what he thought? I wasn't fighting back tears, whatever, lady. I know what I saw. Huh? That look of disappointment, that look of anger, that look of sadness and loneliness and rage. I know what I see. And Better You says, after my time in the hyperbolic misandry chamber and unlocking ultra mansplain, I am unwaterable. There we go. Unwaterboardable. Do your worst, Z. Look, Teresa is oh man, that's some torture, y'all. Listening to her, that's some torture, y'all. Woof. Huh? Thank you for the super chat, Better You. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for all the super chats, everyone. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, listening to her, and thank you for that. That's hysterical, by the way. But yeah, no, it's I know it comes off as waterboarding, but I like to put these things into context. And I know, all of us in the Black Manosphere, we have different things that we cover and we focus on. Different folks that we tend to cover a bit more than everyone else in the Black Manosphere does. And I speak about these people, these content creators, these thinkers. Some of these people, are highly educated, institutionally educated at least. I speak about these people because I want us to know not only do these people exist, but how these people are speaking, and that these people have thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And it's important that we speak about what they're saying and thinking and what they're portraying and putting out there for our daughters and our nieces, right? And for the young women to ingest. So, yeah. And Miss Teresa is definitely one of those rad feminists, y'all. It's crazy. Y'all don't even hear some of the craziest stuff. Oh man. And Cam S says, and thank you for the super chat, big old 50. And Cam S says, oh man. And Cam S says, write the book. You owe it to your subscribers, to your naysayers, to black men and black women who won't know, quote unquote, how we got here, but most importantly, to owe it to yourself. Let your shout into the darkness ring for eternity. And I think it'd be best if I did a mini doc. I really do think it would be best if I did a mini doc. I could work towards a book. I don't know when I'm gonna have the time, KMS, to tell you the truth, because man, if only y'all knew how crazy, how living life on the edge Mr. Z is living half the time, including low-key right now. And I'm gonna have to end that in a minute because of living life on the edge. Yeah, y'all. If y'all knew, y'all be like, Z, I knew you was living life on the edge. I knew you were living life reckless. I know you was living life that reckless. If only y'all knew. But we ain't gonna incriminate ourselves, and we gonna pause right there. Don't put it in the comments. Don't put it in the comments. But yeah, y'all, man. Yeah, but yeah. So that is on the itinerary, KMS. The not the book as of yet, but definitely like a mini doc that I can be proud of. Yeah. So that, because I especially concerning internet conversations, right? Particularly in the black community, quote unquote black Twitter. So yeah. You're right. And yeah, right. Yeah, I definitely have to kind of put my a larger mark, right? I do have to put a larger stamp on this conversation, and yeah, to say how we got here for future for the young folks that will be coming of age in the future, particularly the young men, black men, so they can appreciate why things are the way they are in the next 5 to 10, definitely 15 to 20 years. And KMS also says, Friendsgiving, Galentine's Day, it's funny how the decentering of men coincides with the dissolving of relationship-based holidays. Jason Black mentioned this and did a whole stream about this a year ago or so. Last Valentine's Day, or was that this Valentine's Day that just passed? He might have did one last Valentine's Day and this 2025's Valentine's Day. So 2024 and 2025. I listened to it, and he said the whole stream he did was pretty much saying exactly what you just said. And he was saying pretty much men fund these holidays, so of course the women are going to do Galentine's Day, because if you're not in a relationship with a man, or if you're not dating a man, then what else you got? If you're not even, as younger sister Z says, which I find hysterical, if you're not shaking a thigh for a man, if you're not at least shaking a thigh for a man, then there is no Valentine's Day for you. So of course you're going to do quote unquote Galentine's Day. Huh? And Leon says, and we're gonna let that be the end of that. And Leon says, Z, you're gonna have to let me get a quote in your book. Y'all gonna try to make me Obsidian. I'm gonna write like 8, 7, 12, 50, 11 books. By the way, that's not a job at Obsidian, but yeah. Right, so y'all, look, Z got things to do. Oh man, we got things to do for real. Okay, so on that note, y'all, my apologies, and it didn't look like I was gonna be able to really do this the way I wanted to do it in the first place. My apologies for kind of half-assing this. That's at least how it feels on my end. We'll come with a part 2 tomorrow, and we'll hopefully have all of our ducks in a row. I guess we'll just call this a rough draft. Shout out to Louis for the thumbnail. Came in the clutch last minute with the thumbnail. Shout out to Louis. Red Pill Sleeper Cell for those of you that don't know. So on that note, y'all, we will pause right there. And Trail says, as long as NASIC goes in the book, you know it's gonna go in the book. You know it. So we'll pause right here, everyone. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. And we'll pause right here, and y'all have a great rest of y'all Sunday. And Mr. Z out. All right, y'all.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.